a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
I'm always flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me. But they hate from inside, you see, hate themselves in society. So I let them speak quietly while my actions speak wider. See, they be hiding in privacy with the screen. Oh, the irony to hate someone who's trying to be whatever they would like to be. We all feel the anxiety, we make our own rivalries. Yo, so where is all the positivity? I feel like we all just hate on everything, it's killing me. Thoughts build quick, causing different possibilities. Negative thoughts will cause different disabilities. So do better, work hard under pressure. If you got no time, work smarter than ever. Don't ever let them tell you that you can't ever say never. And turn your mind into the truest to go-getters.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and let's get this show started. Let's turn on these cameras. Been a day. I took yesterday off to. I was tired from Saturday. It was a long day Saturday. I didn't get home till like almost close to 1 in the morning, and I was just out of it on Sunday. So I took it off and decided to come on today and produce a show. Happy Labor Day for those here in the United States that are celebrating Labor Day. It's a holiday for us here, but there's big news going on right now. There has been a big earthquake, not really big earthquake, but a 6.0. They're saying almost 800 dead, almost 2,000 injured. I think it's a lot more than that. Big earthquake happening in Afghanistan, between Afghanistan and Pakistan. We got to just jump right into that because that's some big news that's going on right now. Innocent people are dying. The reason why this earthquake happened, well, the sun released a really big solar flare yesterday, and we are feeling the effects of it starting now. Probably today, we won't feel like the full impact until like 7 p.m. this evening. And it's going to radiate throughout our planet, and it's going to cause instability, more earthquakes, more chances of possibly a tsunami somewhere out here in this beautiful world. It's sad, but this is part of life that we're dealing with living in this planet. We have to deal with our sun on a daily basis. Our sun does bring like good energy to us, but it also can kill us at the same time. So let's get right to the news here. Let me go ahead and put it up here. Let's go straight to it.
A powerful earthquake hit Afghanistan Sunday, killing more than 800 people and injuring more than 1,000. That's according to the Afghan Interior Ministry. The 6.0 magnitude quake hit the country's mountainous eastern region near the Pakistan border. Rescue workers were deployed to the hardest hit areas, but they are struggling to reach remote communities as landslides and destroyed roads hamper their progress. CNN's Nick Robertson is joining us now from London with what more we know on this, what sounds like an absolutely devastating quake, Nick.
Yeah, the reports we're just getting are coming from the Afghan government spokesman, the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, the spokesman saying that now they believe more than 800 people have been killed. They're estimating about 2,000 people injured. These are, I think we should stress, preliminary figures that may go up, may be corrected perhaps down, but most likely up as the government gets more information. It is, as you say, remote areas. Some of them are village areas, some of them are up essentially dirt tracks. So very, in the best of times, hard to get there.
Hello,
hard
Chloe.
to ascertain the information.
ALB.
The injured are being transported to one of the sort of main regional cities in the east of the country, Jalalabad in Nangarhar province, which is affected. Kunar province is the province that's understood to be the most heavily affected there. Other local hospitals are taking in some of the wounded. And for the Afghan healthcare system that is already stretched economically, that is already stretched in terms of what it can, the facilities it can offer, this is undoubtedly going to stretch their resources possibly beyond life-saving for some of those people being brought in. The construction of houses in that area, in the villages, some of the remote villages, is sometimes rough stonework, often using mud as well. So these are structures, wood structures as well, that can be prone to earthquakes. The last time there was an earthquake of this similar magnitude, it was a 6.3 back in October 2023. 2,000 people died as a result of that earthquake. Wow. And we're looking at essentially a similar situation again now, where the Afghan medical services are being stretched, are in need of lifting equipment, are in need of blood supplies. And at the moment, they're looking to the international community or anyone that can help support them in this. There have been a number of aftershocks, the most intense of which was a 5.3, but at the moment, the Afghan authorities really stretched in trying to account for, recover the survivors, and account for all the dead.
And Nick, you mentioned that previous earthquake that sounds like it was pretty close to the same magnitude as this one. Did the region ever recover from that one? As to right now, may that may be leading to more damage here?
It's likely that most of the structures that were damaged back in 2023 were either not used again or reconstructed. The structures there are many of them are of, as I was mentioning, poorly made, poorly constructed, because the economy is poor, and they're built in remote areas. So I think the 2023 earthquake is probably the after effects of that are probably not going to have a hugely significant impact. A minor impact may be. Of course, it's in the similar area in the east of the country towards the border with Pakistan. But primarily the problem here is going to be people in their homes when the quake struck, bringing down roughly built houses on the people inside, and local authorities, such as they are, not having heavy lift equipment and certainly not being able to rush it into the area, particularly when homes have been destroyed. There are very, very few tarmac roads in that area for quick medical support to be brought in. However, we understand the Afghan government is using helicopters as well to try to get some of the most badly injured to hospital, to those medical centers, which are, as we understand at the moment, quite frankly, being overwhelmed by the number of casualties they're facing.
Wow.
And we will see how the humanitarian effort navigates the same issues that first responders are having. Nick Robertson, I know, also keen to point out those casualty numbers are preliminary and may be subject to going up. I know you'll stay on top of it, Nick Robertson. Thank you.
Go up. It's definitely going to go up. Let's go continue.
Beachgoers being cautioned against going in the water at shores along the entire East Coast due to fecal contamination.
Ew.
This is high bacteria levels prompted similar warnings at beaches up and down the West Coast, even parts of the Midwest. News Nation's Marcus Espinosa is beachside in Bayshore, New York this morning. Marcus, we hate to be the bearer of bad news on this one, but it's something people got to keep in mind. How big of a risk is that for holiday swimmers?
Yeah, Marky, good morning. This is widespread. So a lot of folks need to check their beaches before they head out, and hopefully they didn't get into any water that had fecal contamination.
Yeah.
This is certainly a little bit gross, but it is a widespread issue right now in dozens of beaches, and then also about
that's a lot of shit in the water.
Have had this issue at
you're gonna have a shitty day
in the past year or so, and you really want to check those advisories before you head out to the beach and you go inside. The worst trouble spots, Gulf Coast beaches, where 84% were flagged. The West Coast at 79%. The Great Lakes at 71%.
You can't even swim in the water
East
anymore
Coast beaches at 54%. These warnings are certainly real.
That's disgusting.
Waste, either animal waste or human waste, contains pathogens, parasites, viruses of various kinds that can make us sick. We're talking about nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, skin rashes, ear infections, and the like.
Marky, it's not just on the coast here. It's also in the Midwest, near Michigan, near the Great Lakes over there, even reaching all the way to Hawaii, though, as well. So pretty big issue right now that is popping up for folks.
What's going on
Marcus,
with the
I'm
water?
just going to ask the question everybody's thinking at home. Is this a human problem? Like, we're the issue here? What's driving the contamination?
You guys are the shitheads.
I'm not laughing.
Yeah, okay. It is. It's a serious issue because you just heard that soundbite there, but you almost have to laugh at the fact that we're talking about this because, a lot of folks are thinking, how is this possible? It all goes down to infrastructure. Basically, so much of it is old throughout the United States that when that fails and when you have heavy rains as well, sewer and stormwater systems built decades ago are basically overwhelmed by modern development. So when you see all those new apartment complexes come up, new buildings being added. That's adding to the infrastructure there. And when they fail, untreated sewage flows straight onto beaches. And experts warn posted signs aren't always obvious, leading swimmers to rely on local governments to sound the alarm. Public health advocates say until billions are invested in upgrades, holiday weekends like this are going to keep bringing those hidden dangers along the way. And those signs can be small, Marky. So when you go to a beach, they're like no bigger than, your normal piece of paper. So try to check those posted signs and then go to that county website. That's probably a good avenue to go as well. But yeah, you want to keep an eye out for any sort of warning about fecal contamination.
Yeah, got to heed the gross warnings this morning. Okay, Marcus Espinosa, thank you so much. Appreciate the update.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now.
Really, really shitty, but it's true. We have the same problem here in Connecticut where we got shit coming from Massachusetts through the Connecticut River. We get a lot of shit from Holyoke, and we also get a lot of shit from Springfield. And all that, they're just dumping waste every day. This is the everyday problem that is getting into the Connecticut River and flowing right up, down through our state and out to the ocean. And our waters are really highly contaminated here. And the fact that they keep it on the hush, they're like, shh, don't talk about the shit. There's no shit to see here. I'm like, you're full of shit. There's shit everywhere. There's shit all over the fucking place. Like you can't even go to the beach out here because you probably end up with a big turd on your head. It's like, and it's probably going to be mine. So, so it's very nasty, very disgusting, but it's something that we're dealing with out here. It's a big problem. And I know other states are dealing with this too, but they keep it on the hush. But the fact that the whole East Coast, you guys are a bunch of shitheads. You got a lot of shit all over. I wonder how and why all this shit is being deposited out in the ocean. It makes you wonder. Easy just to get rid of this shit? I don't know. It's a lot of shit talk today. Let's go to the next segment. Rat takeover. We got a rat takeover in New York. Not surprisingly, New York has rats that are the size of cats and dogs, but they are taking over. Let's take a look.
Rats are apparently running amok in one part of the Upper West Side, and a local leader is blaming people who are feeding pigeons for attracting the unwanted rodents. News 4's Chris Glorioso is live at the corner of 96 and Broadway. Chris, this is a busy area right next to the 1 and 2 train.
Gilma, it's right next to the subway station. This property is technically owned by the city parks department, but do not tell that to the pigeons. Ask neighbors around here, and they will tell you during the day, this is like an all-day banquet for the birds. And then when it gets dark outside at night, they say it turns into an all-night, all-you-can-eat buffet for the rats.
When you feed the pigeons, you're going to bring the rats because they like the same grain, the same seeds.
City Council member Gail Brewer says the pigeon problem begins each day in the morning when animal lovers like this one start feeding the birds. But every evening there are leftover seeds, and the result is a feast for the rats.
The rats be right behind you, and they just come out, and if it's food by your foot, they come right by your foot. They ain't even scared of humans.
I'm not scared of rats.
I have had a rat come right across my foot, so eager to get to whatever food is left over.
Councilmember Brewer says she has pleaded with the Mayor Adams administration, writing this letter asking for measures to prevent the feeding of pigeons. But the health department has responded, saying it's not technically illegal to feed pigeons or other wildlife. Still, we did see Parks Department police officers dispatched here to try and get people to obey this sign.
And I was a little surprised that there's nothing that can be done to stop people from feeding them.
I like pigeons, and I know that they groom themselves about 30 times a day. And, they poop here, but where are they supposed to poop?
Though some New Yorkers consider pigeons to be our friends, others say scenes like this look too much like an Alfred Hitchcock movie. And the rats, pigeons.
I like rats.
The birds. When you ask the city health department, they say it's legal to feed the pigeons. What do you think about that?
I think that those are flying rats.
Flying rats.
Something about it.
Now, remember, Mayor Adams has hired a rat czar, and recently he has touted month upon month of decreasing rat sightings in New York City, according to 311 data. Neighbors I talked to around here are hoping that rat czar might be able to help come up with some creative solutions to deal with the residual problem from feeding these pigeons. We did reach out to the mayor's office. We're waiting to hear back what they have to say. For now, reporting live on the Upper West Side, Chris Glorioso, News 4 New York.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Those are like flying rats. Look, she's calling birds flying rats. Oh no. I knew a friend back in the days. He used to he used to have rats. And I was like, what a unique pet, you know? And they were so fucking smart. These rats were like super smart. He had one albino, like all white with red eyes. He had another gray one. He had like literally like about 5 rats. And he had like a whole tunnel thing, like contraption. This was out and actually in Los Angeles. And they were pretty cool. I mean, I held one and it was so nice. I gave him a little cracker and he would start eating it up. And I'm like, well, rats are no far different than ferrets and any other of those creatures like that you could handle with your hands, like a hamster or, you know, a gerbil. Rats are very smart. Their brain power is very strong. And I trust more of a rat than I do any politician these days. So we'll just leave it at that. But hey, I mean, New York had this rat problem. They try to make it seem like this is something like out of the ordinary new. The fact that they sent 2 police officers to stand in the corner to enforce them not to throw food at birds is what's more concerning to me than everything, all of it. The most concerning is that they send 2 officers to that location to make sure nobody throws any food there. Now, help me make that make sense. I'll just go the next block over and throw the food there and they're going to come. So it's like that, with all the crime that goes on in New York, the fact that they were able to send 2 cops to protect an area for people not to throw food at is super ridiculous. And what a waste of taxpayers' money. What a waste of taxpayer money. Oh, yeah, this is how we solve the problem. We'll send 2 officers over there and we'll just say that they're protecting the people from not throwing food at the birds. And that's going to help the rodent problem. Oh, boy. You don't know rats then. You just don't know rats because these rats will find a way to feed. They are the most slick, most smartest. Like, I think rats are a lot more smarter than people. And a lot of people that I know, these rats are probably smarter than. So that's just, it's a little weird. So let's go to weirder news. Why not, right? Let's go to a little bit more weird news. What the hell happened here in Pennsylvania?
Fighting scene in Pennsylvania. A young boy walking high up on the monorail tracks at Hershey Park. The dramatic rescue effort.
Oh, my mom would have whooped my ass.
Here's ABC's Perry.
Oh, hell to the no. My mom would have whooped my ass if I was up there.
Terrifying video. A little boy standing dangerously on the edge of the monorail track at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. The boy walking the metal beam as people on the ground yell for him to stop. Others yell, keep going.
Stop! Keep going! No!
Why you tell him to stop and then
the young child reported missing Saturday evening, separated from his parents. He was spotted on the track 20 minutes later, apparently overwhelmed and confused. The boy covers his ears. A bystander jumps into action, climbing on the roof of a nearby ice cream shop, clapping for the boy's attention. The man then makes the dangerous decision to jump on the track. He pulls himself up as the boy walks toward him, lifting him to safety.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It comes just a month after 9-year-old Sophia Subidi, seen in this GoFundMe, tragically drowned in the wave pool at Hershey Park. The first guest to die in the park's 119-year history. Police say her death was accidental, stating it did not involve any criminal activity on the part of Hershey Park or its employees.
On yesterday's incident, Hershey Park says the monorail was closed at the time. They are thanking their guests for saving the boy.
saying they are committed to the highest levels of safety. Mary?
We are glad he is back down safely. Perry, thank you.
First of all, my question is, like everyone's asking, how the fuck did this kid got on the damn rail? Did he walk the whole thing? Yo, this kid, I swear to God, if that was me up there, my mom would have found anything to hit me with. She would have whooped the shit out of me. I'm telling you right now, she would have whooped my ass in front of everybody there. And then she would have whooped their asses too for screaming at me and distracting me. Oh no. But this little boy was like, he was, oh, I'm going to go this way. Oh, I'm going to go this way. And like, what the fuck you doing? And what made this boy get on the rail? Like how? It's so many questions, right? There's so many questions. There has to be video of this boy getting on the tracks from one of the stations, because the only way you could get on this track is from a train station, one of those monorail stations. I've never been to Hershey Park. I've never been to that theme park. I actually may want to go. Maybe next year I could go and make it like a kind of like a little theme park trip where I could go to maybe Busch Gardens, and then I could go to Hershey Park and then just make my way back home. Crazy how this little boy got the hell on that track. It's just driving me like a little mad here. Just weird. All right, let's go to some more news, and we're gonna just keep it moving forward because gotta keep it moving. Let's go
to South America now, and the rising tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela. Officials in Washington sending several U.S. warships to the southern Caribbean, and now there are growing questions about what it's all for. In Venezuela's capital, leader Nicolás Maduro putting his military on display, accusing the United States of preparing an invasion.
Colonizar a Venezuela.
Maduro saying the U.S. wants to colonize Venezuela, to break it into pieces and steal its riches. That rhetoric in response to a major development from the Pentagon, mobilizing U.S. Navy warships and thousands of personnel off Venezuela's coast. The goal, according to the U.S., is to confront the drug cartels operating in the region.
And the president is prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice.
The Trump administration doubling the reward for Maduro's arrest to $50 million.
Yo, who wants to go half on me?
Being the head of the Cartel de los Soles, responsible for trafficking fentanyl-laced cocaine into the U.S., an allegation Maduro has denied.
The DEA has seized 30 tons of cocaine linked to Maduro and his associates, with nearly 7 tons linked to Maduro himself.
The White House also designating that cartel an international terrorist organization. That accusation echoed by Ecuador, Paraguay, Argentina, and other countries, adding to the pressure inside Venezuela. After widespread claims that Maduro ignored last year's election results and clung to power. All of that comes after Venezuela's political crisis and economic collapse caused what may be the largest mass migration in the Americas in recent history. Nearly 8 million people forced to leave that country, many coming here to the U.S.
You see, thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or watch live on our YouTube channel.
Like, they send people here, they migrated here, especially from Venezuela, Colombia, all around. Brazil, Chile, everyone just started migrating and by the millions. And a lot of them released a lot of prisoners from jail. A lot of them released a lot of individuals that are in psycho wards that are not mentally stable. And guess what? They're here in the United States and they're causing chaos. And it's a headache that was brought upon us through the Democratic Party. Thank you and fuck you, Joe Biden. We really did not need this headache that we're going through, but we got to go through it in order to get these people out of here, But the resistance grows and grows every day, and it just gets more and more crazier by the minute. So let's go ahead and continue on with the news because we're going to keep moving forward. We got like 4 videos of Tyson de la Cruz to watch, so bear with me and we're going to get to it.
Court will be back in session Tuesday after a federal judge refused to rule on a request by Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook Friday to temporarily bar President Trump from firing her. Cook is embroiled in a mortgage.
He can fire whoever he wants.
And today, Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte provided evidence showing matching signatures allegedly from Cook, listing both Atlanta and Michigan as her primary residence. Cook's lawyer argued at Friday's hearing that this is politically motivated, while Democrats are calling for Trump's removal from office.
You're not going to remove him from office.
Call for Article 25 of the Constitution of the United States of America to determine his unfitness. To determine that something's wrong with this.
You're unfit.
And I would suggest that we move very
Lord, look at this panel.
to talk about the danger to this country
MSNBC.
and to our democracy.
This is crazy.
Seems it's always time to call for the 25th Amendment when it comes to Trump. It wasn't during the Biden years ever. What do you make, Molly, of this he is sort of on unprecedented ground here, Trump, when it comes to firing Cook, but there also does seem to be some meat on the bone here.
Although I think you have to ask the question, we're talking about the Federal Reserve Governor, Lisa Cook. So, and what she's accused of, the question is this fraud? Is it negligence? And either way, is that an individual that you want to be in charge or high level in an institution that's very important in America and with our finances and what we all should care about. I don't know how this will ultimately shake up. I suspect ultimately that she probably won't be in this position for long. It seems like things tend to shake out when the president is pushing in this direction, finds a way to get the things that he wants to get done. As for Maxine Waters, completely predictable, unsurprising. I'm actually surprised we haven't heard more calls for impeachment and who knows what else. But yeah, go ahead, Doug.
There's a mortgage fraud scandal. The president is within his rights, and I've been reading about this all day because I'm not an attorney. He's within his rights to remove someone from this position if they're allegedly guilty of something. If they're not, then he can't remove them. So he's certainly within his rights to say he wants to do this. So for Maxine Waters or anyone to be calling for the 25th Amendment when the president is trying to do his job is ridiculous.
Yeah, to my knowledge, Raymond, she has not yet denied having put her signature on.
No. Well, this is the problem. You can't, as a Fed governor, misrepresent on a federal document your primary place of residence. Where is it? Is it Atlanta or is it Ann Arbor? Pick one. But you didn't. And you're misrepresenting that on two separate documents. And Mark is right. There was a DOJ attorney who told the judge overseeing this is at Trump's discretion. If he feels that this individual is guilty, and it looks like she may be. But here's the real larger problem when you pull out. Whether or not she gets removed or not, that's up to President Trump's discretion. But for Maxine Waters and the Democratic Party to put any political capital on the table to defend basically wrongdoing at this point, fraud in your federal documents, and then invoking the 25th Amendment for that, go get Trump on something else. But this is ridiculous.
I got to say, I was looking at it, I was open-minded. I was like, is this maybe an issue where there was political targeting? I want to look into it. And then I was like, wait a second, she's the one who sets the mortgage rates. I'm fairly certain she knows how mortgage applications work. I will say The Atlantic published an article arguing that the government shouldn't investigate mortgage fraud because of concerns that digging up dirt to target political opponents is worse. I also remember, however, that Paul Manafort was accused of mortgage fraud, and it was a very big deal back then. Why was it different?
and I think that, and like you said, that happens a lot in politics. And this is an accusation that gets thrown around from both sides, and was arguably made when President Trump was on trial right here in New York, that was a political targeting. So it's a fair question to ask. It's a fair question to explore. But it's also a fair question to say, how did this turn out this way? How did this happen? Did mortgage fraud actually occur? And then to act on.
Well, what other crimes would the Atlantic like to take off the table in politics? I mean, this is ridiculous. If it's blatant, it's obvious. It's not like estimating your wealth, which is hardly illegal. We're talking about federal documents where you are signing a mortgage agreement. That is a big deal, particularly, as you said, Mary Catherine, from a Fed governor who should know better.
Well, also, we have California Senator Adam Schiff and New York Attorney General Letitia James are also being investigated for similar allegations of mortgage fraud. And I'm just kind of
their asses to Alcatraz.
Is this common?
Because there was a lot of these antagonistic attacks that preceded this administration. And I think if the Democrats want to get back in power ever, they shouldn't be showing this side all the time. How about trying to work with the side that's in power? How about trying to make deals together? You know, everybody brings up the Newt Gingrich Clinton deal that was made that around the middle of his term. We can see more of that. We're seeing none of that. The Democrats are not trying to work with the Republicans here.
Well, there's also total amnesia about what happened during the Biden administration when it came to political prosecutions, right? And is no one above the law, or is no one above the law? Which one are we doing right now?
They're not ever going to be able to get past that until they acknowledge that they were hiding that the president of the United States had a problem with cognition.
Right. It's a wonder that Maxine Waters talks about the 25th Amendment when she stood there saying Joe Biden was sharp as a tack. I mean, this is absurd. So the hypocrisy here is crazy. If there's illegality, you got to root it out. You have to pursue it. And the fact that you have so many of these politicians engaging in mortgage fraud, that's a real problem. They must have known the grift.
Yeah, again, much like the Biden administration, you do have to have forgotten everything.
Throw them in the dome.
Now.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. These people are crazy, man. These Democrats,
to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
They've been pretty crazy.
You will not get it anywhere else.
They've been very, very crazy, these Democrats lately, and it's not getting any better. It's definitely some kind of mental disease. Could it be like the drugs they're taking? Maybe something in the water? I don't know. It has to be something, because how could these people think that way and think the way they think and not be reasonable and try to come to an agreement? Where's the debate in all this? What happened to debating? We don't debate. We fucking everything. Like, what the hell? What's going on with the Democrats, man? They're crazy, man. Fucking crazy.
Time is ticking on more than a dozen major drug companies. The president putting a clock on drug manufacturers, telling them to comply with his executive order on lowering prescription costs or face consequences. His administration is also setting rules for the companies, demanding that they don't offer better prices to other developed nations. Joining me now is former Republican Congressman from Arizona, J.D. Hayward.
I think so, too.
Spokesman for the pharmaceutical reform.
All they got to do is audit them.
Congressman, good morning, sir. Thanks for hopping on.
Marky, good morning to you and happy Labor Day. It's good to be back with you.
It's good to be working together on Labor Day, both of us. You know, I think we've all had that moment, right? You go to your pharmacy to pick up a prescription and they tell you the cost of it. And you think, you know what, maybe I'll just do without. If implemented, how
good thing I have insurance.
Could most favored nation-based pricing reduce costs for patients?
Yeah, Doc.
Well, Marky, you
no surprise.
Perfectly right there. The president last week doubling down on his most favored nation status for the United States. Recall, this is really flipping the script. Instead of bestowing most favored nation status on another country, the president is saying, hey, big pharma, put Americans first, not last, because on average, Americans pay 3 times as much as prescription drug users in the rest of the developed world. The president himself cited a price saying that, well, I want to make sure I get this right. It's why I'm wearing my specs. A pill that sells in Germany for $10 costs $150 here in the United States.
That's just crazy, Congressman.
The American people do. Yes, ma'am.
That's crazy. I mean, the price disparity between our countries. This is something, too, that he tried to enact during his first term, right? And then it was struck down in the courts on procedural grounds, rescinded by the Biden administration. What am I missing? Why would we not all be for this?
Well, your last question sums
because the
up.
Democrats get
What
paid.
was missing was
They got
something that was
stock.
bubbling up
They got a
from
lot
the
of stock
grassroots, as
in
we've
pharmaceutical.
discussed before.
That's why this is like the Democrats
people get it.
go to
In a
for
recent
money
poll
is
conducted by the
pharmaceutical. That's why our
Pharmaceutical
prices are so
Reform
high.
Alliance, we found that fully
But Trump's trying to cut that shit and cut their money
of
flow.
Americans say the problem is big pharma. And every year, for example, when the calendar swapped over from 2024 to 2025, hundreds of prescription medications, the pharmaceutical companies raised prices far outstripping inflation. In fact, to bring it home, Markey, I left Congress in 2007. The cost of an EpiPen was what, about $100? Fast forward to last year, $630. Simply stated, Big Pharma has gotten away with this because they can. But now with the American people seeing this, Markey, and again, according to the same poll, 86% of Americans say they will back a candidate, either an incumbent or a challenger who stands up to Big Pharma.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
So just real quick, any movement since the president's letter to over a dozen drug companies a month ago? Have any manufacturers agreed to slash pricing?
Well, they have. They've kind of been saying, oh, that's a good idea, but there are problems. In fact, it was interesting. The CEO of Pfizer said, well, what the president is asking of pharmaceutical companies is a big ask, ASK. Well, the pharmaceutical companies ask us for more and more money, as you
I thought he was
pointed out
saying
at the
big
outset.
ass. I was like,
Some
what?
people choosing between food and medicine or delaying their rent payments for pharmaceutical drugs. That's wrong. That has to stop.
September
The good news is on
29th.
Capitol Hill, far from the roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd, there truly are bipartisan efforts to lower costs. And so I would hope, and I think many who view this, the most favored nation status executive order that the administration has called for, I would hope that a strong bipartisan majority on Capitol Hill backs that, because it's clear the American people will settle for nothing less.
And they need it. It's forcing American families to make tough choices at home. Former Arizona Republican Congressman J.D. Hayworth, thank you so much, sir,
Especially
for your time this
intimate.
morning. Really appreciate it.
Great to be with you. More info at pharmareformalliance.com.
Perfect. We'll check it out, and please keep us posted.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our news.
That was a good little shout to his little, but yeah, like insulin, right? Insulin it's needed. You don't know how dangerous it can be if you don't have like your EpiPen, and you come across, like, if you have a peanut allergy. And I have a family member that's allergic to peanuts, and if she comes even close to peanuts, she can be in very bad like health condition, and she has to be on EpiPen. And those EpiPens are very expensive. They're not cheap, right? And the fact that we're paying like 6 times more than we did in 2007, it's just very disturbing, because the rest of the world doesn't get paid the markup price. They get paid like the example they put out. You know, if it's $10 in Germany, we're here paying $150. How is that fair? How is that fair for the whole world to spread the cost a little bit and not have the American people get screwed every single time? That's disturbing. That's crazy, by the way. Let's see what else we got here. Let's check this one out. All right. I hope you guys are having a happy Labor Day. Yeah, we definitely need to catch up. We gotta catch up, Doc. Trying to get this. There we go.
A crime-free zone as a result of his federal takeover, and he's still considering expanding his crime crackdown to other cities after Chicago faced a violent holiday weekend.
Alexandria Hoff joins us live from Washington with the very latest. Good morning, Alex.
Well, good morning to you. There were multiple mass shootings this weekend in Chicago. At least 43 people were shot, 7 fatally. And Governor J.B. Pritzker maintains that the National Guard is only necessary in an emergency, and he feels there is not one. Yesterday, he responded to that and the Trump administration ramping up immigration enforcement.
We hope that they don't send any troops along with ICE.
Why not?
And if they do,
why
they'll
not?
be in court pretty quickly.
Last time I checked,
because
this is
that
the United
illegal.
States of
Paseo
fucking
Comitatus
America.
does not allow U.S.
Chicago
troops
is
into
America.
U.S. cities to do.
Chicago's not its own
to
country.
fight crime, to be involved
You're
in
a
law
little city.
enforcement. That's not their job.
Like, who
DHS
are
Secretary
these
Kristi Noem
people
was
think
asked
they
about
are?
potential plans to deploy the National Guard to
You
cities
know what I
like
mean?
Chicago. Listen.
They forgot. They
There's a
forgot
lot
where
of
the fuck
cities
they
that are
live.
dealing with crime and violence right now, and so we haven't taken anything off the table. We've been making sure that we have the resources and the equipment to go in. We've been working to partner with every single agency that we can.
Well, President Trump stating yesterday, D.C. is now a crime-free zone in just 12 days. Now, here in Washington, since federal reinforcements arrived, the White House says over 1,500 arrests have been made and over 150 firearms taken off the streets. Local Democrat leadership was quick to cite falling crime rates as a reason why the DOJ takeover of the police force was not necessary. But the Washington Post editorial board acknowledged that, quote, there are legitimate reasons to be skeptical of the city's published crime statistics. That's in reference to an investigation into whether D.C. police cooked the books to make the crime rate appear lower prior to being federalized. Guys.
And that is not a good thing. Alexandria Hall
I
for
think
us.
it's a
Alex,
good
thank you.
thing
Let's bring in
that
Chicago radio host and
you're
resident
going to
Ray
Chicago.
Stevens. Ray, how many more innocent people have to die on the streets of Chicago for Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson to, quite frankly, swallow their pride, admit they were wrong, admit they have a problem, and welcome Donald Trump's crackdown there in the Windy City?
Todd, it just doesn't make any sense, but it's condition and response, right? We've been going through this in Chicago
They've been
for
digging
years
their
and
hole
years
for a
and
long
years,
time,
especially
Doc.
under the Biden administration. But here's what they'll say.
We're
Here's
just
what the Democrat leaders will say.
keeping track
They'll say,
here,
well, you know what? By statistics, the crime numbers are down. And you and I both know that you can manipulate numbers to your favor. They took away a shot spotter. And you think about it, 43 shot, 7 dead. Now, people will say, well, back in the 90s in Chicago, there were 700 to 800 murders a year. All this really does is show you how good first response and triage has become to save these people. But to your point, I don't want one person shot here in Chicago. Chicago is probably 2,500 police officers down because nobody wants to do this job anymore. That's where the rub lies, right there. We need more officers. We need people to prosecute crime. And I don't understand why the hill that the Democrats want to die on is, dead citizens and dead kids each and every weekend. 43 shot in Chicago on a weekend. That's normal news. It's not an outrageous or unrealistic number right now. And we got a day to go.
But my question is Chicago like New York, to where people get arrested and they're in and out of jail before the paperwork's done with the police department, and these are the same people who are committing the crimes over and over? Because when you look at the stats, I mean, crime is up all around in Chicago. So it makes you wonder, are these the same people committing these crimes?
The crimes are down again.
Well, we've got the SAFETY Act here. I believe Illinois was the first state with the SAFETY Act. There's no safety within the SAFETY Act. Our Mayor Brandon Johnson last week said that jailing is racist and it doesn't work. So you commit a crime, you go back out on the street.
Jailing
9
is
times out of 10,
racist.
same
I've
people are doing
never
the crime.
heard someone
And
say
you
that
can
in
see
my
what
life.
happens. I mean, look at those numbers you have right there. We're talking about homicides. Nobody mentions carjackings. There was a beatdown last weekend in the Gold Coast where a guy had his eye socket smashed. I thought the guy was dead. Maybe talk about stuff that goes on in the Gold Coast is the nicest of the nice neighborhoods. And I know that the men and women and the people that live in some of Chicago's hardest hit communities, they want safety. And there's a lot of people here. They won't say it to your face. They want the Guard here, and the Guard, I think, will be here this week.
You mentioned Mayor Johnson. He's pushing back against not only Trump's crime crackdown, but also the immigration crackdown that Trump is threatening there for the Windy City. Let's take a listen to what he said about cooperating with ICE.
He is the biggest threat to our democracy than we've experienced in the history of our country. What his ultimate desire is to
this guy's a fucking
come
idiot.
into our city, to break the Constitution, and to break our democracy, and to break our city. And Chicago is going to remain firm in our position.
He's a fucking idiot.
So to be clear, if I'm hearing the mayor properly, illegal migrants breaking the law is democracy. Trying to stop them is a threat to democracy. What do the people of Chicago think about that? Right?
The fuck is he talking about?
Todd, I need to tell you, there's a whole movement in Chicago. Chicago flips red. Chicago turns red. People have had enough. They're tired of immigration money being sent to people that are here illegally when their kids are in schools and they can't read, they can't write. They can't do math. That's a fact. In a city that's a
Keep
billion
them
and a
young,
half
dumb.
behind in a budget at this point in
Because
the year,
remember,
it's
they're
just
the future.
ridiculous. So to
And if you
sit here
keep
and
those
think
kids
that you're
stupid,
doing the city a favor by saying you're protecting them, by not
elders can last
protecting
a
them,
little longer in
I don't get it.
office.
I'm here to tell you, Chicago and Illinois is going to
That's
see
why
a
he's trying
change
to
real
keep the
soon.
young
Yeah,
games
I was going to
stupid.
say, I mean, they voted him
Like to hold
in,
control
but
over
is this
them.
really what they want? So it'll be interesting to see what happens when his time comes up here. Ray Stevens, thanks so much.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, guys.
I'm Steve Doocy.
Crazy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And
That's
click here.
that's the plan for the Democrats, is to keep these the kids stupid, keep them like at this age of them in school, and they're still developing their minds, and they push this LBGTQ, LMLP, QRX, YZ to what power we're at now. We could go 100,000 million power for them wherever. Yeah. They've been pushing this narrative onto these kids and just like literally like punching it into their heads like for the past 4 years. Especially with that drag queen hour and all this drag queen reading, and then taking kids to drag shows that these drag queens are like half naked, and then accepting money from the little kids that are sticking their little dollar bills out to give to these half naked men / whatever they are, drags. That's very disturbing. And the fact that this Brandon Johnson dude just wasted over $600 million, $600 million. And then next year's budget is at $1.2 billion, right? That's $600 million less for the American people who put into the system. Now, $600 million, that could really help the school system. Shit, that can even help the police force. But no, they decide to spend the money on illegal immigrants. Help me make that make sense. I don't know. I'm here debating with myself. It's like, I don't know how these Democrats, how their brain is so wired like that. Like how, like, has there been studies yet on a Democrat brain, and then just show them flashcards of certain people and see how the brain reacts, like energy pulses. Like, I'm sure if they show a picture of Nancy Pelosi, they get all excited, and then they show a picture of Donald Trump, they get like that TDL, like TDS syndrome, and they start like their brain starts mutating. I don't know. They're very alien to me. Democrats, I've never got like I don't understand them. I mean, they don't even debate. They just want to fight. I go, bitch, you want to fight? I'll fucking fight. I don't give a fuck. But like, what happened to the debate? Where's the talk? You just want action, and then and you're just up for the reaction, and it's just crazy. It just makes me want to roll another joint. It makes me want to roll another joint. I'm sorry, guys. It's wake and bake, right? I just get upset because it's like, when is this gonna fucking like stop, right? Because I've been following for the past, since I just got back on YouTube again, I've been more into listening to the news and listening to what's going on in the world. I'm just paying attention, and just listen, just listen to what's going on, where the energy is directed to, and just feeling it out, And what I feel like we're kind of doomed a little bit, because we keep being so negative, that I'm feeling that we are attracting something big to come our way, and it's just the energy that we're projecting. And like, energy attracts, right? You have a negative and you have a positive. And right now, The world is very negative, and that attracts that energy. It hauls in from wherever in the universe, and things are going to be coming our way. And then I think that's when society will be one together if we had a big threat that came from outer space and was threatening the earth, and mankind was going to be totally eliminated. I think that would be the day that the whole world will be at peace. Like, they will be at peace and there will be no crimes. Crazy, man. It's a crazy world. I'm not high enough. I just smoke one joint. If you're smokers, this is a smoky channel. If you didn't realize it by now. If you didn't realize it, it's up to you guys to listen. But Doc, I'm glad you're here, man. You gotta set yourself up to come on here, man. I could like do something. I'm starting to get more people to showcase themselves here, and I got my friend Tyson Dela Cruz to come and showcase and talk with me for like 2 hours. He's a really good. He reports on a lot of the news and a lot of things going on. He's from Vegas. He's out of Vegas, so I was like, cool beans. He's a good one. Good energy. Very, very knowledgeable. I like that. I like fucking smart people. Doc, I'm talking to you, kid. Like, I like smart people. But I like smart people that have fucking common sense. And it seems like a lot of Democrats are just like, they got like a screw loose or something's going on inside them. I don't know. And the fact that I live with a Democrat like almost my whole life, that's fucking crazy, right? Because my father is a Democrat. And my dad's side of the family, they're all a bunch of Democrats. The wonder I don't get along with those motherfuckers. I haven't spoken to them in over 30 years. Like, listen, you know how to take care of yourself. You don't need to depend on anyone. You'll always find a way, but your way is not with people that you don't want to talk to, or even have a conversation with. You just want to avoid them at all costs, especially family. Especially family. You're like, oh man, I love my peace. Why are you interfering? That's why I feel like family, sometimes they just come and then they just bring all this crazy energy, and then they want you to like stop everything that you're doing and then bow down to them. I'm like, are you gotta be fucking kidding me? I'm not dealing with this fucking energy. I dealt with that energy already. I ain't dealing. This is not repeat. I'm not doing it because I had an issue. I pulled out the 9 of swords before I ended my show on Saturday, and I had like a fucking issue. Like, I was like, why are we worrying about? Like, well, I'm not worried. The fucking text started coming in. I'm like, what the fuck is all this going on? What the fuck is all this crazy talk? And it was my mother. And she was just acting crazy. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm not even responding back to that. I'm not responding to any of those texts. I just, and then she wrote to me today. Oh, what she wrote? She wrote, I'll tell you right now. Shit. Hey, I only got one life to live, and you guys are here listening to it, so I might as well just show out and you guys listen. So fuck it. My mom's just a little weird, her mind is like, she's kind of like a little psycho sometimes, It's like, sometimes it could be Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of person. You don't know which one you're getting. I stay away from my mother. I haven't spoke to her in years. I only communicate with her in text, but when the energy tells me to communicate with her, but a lot of times she just comes off really crazy. So I know already to not even to entertain it. I don't even entertain it. So it's just, you know, they have their moments, but then they try to pass their issues on to you. I'm not dealing with that energy. Listen, you can say no, even if it's your fucking mother. You can even tell her no. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not entertaining it. I'm not even gonna even communicate back to that. It's just not like, no, I'm not doing that. It's just no. I'm at peace. Let me be. Take care of your own problems. Like, you brought me into this world and you didn't bring me into this world to take care of your problems. I have my own damn problems. So this is Survivor, all right? This is the Hunger Games. You need to fend for yourself. We all got to fend for ourselves. Oh, goodness gracious. Just sometimes that energy is just crazy, man. It's just wild energy. That's all it is. It's just really, really wild energy. And it's okay to say no. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to tell people, like, no, that's it. Okay, bye. I gave you the wave. You know, it's like, just don't let that energy trap you, because you got to understand the sun right now is really strong. The energy is, I keep saying it, I keep repeating myself. This is like a record player. It's like the sun is interacting with the earth really strongly. People of weak energy is succumbing to the sun's energy, and it's making them act crazy. Okay? Like, you got to realize the sun really determines what plays on with the earth. And if you don't pay attention, you're going to end up a fucking nut. And lately, a lot of people have been nutty. Look at the Democratic Party. Look at my mother. Like, even my father too. Like, it's crazy. Like, I say, look, no. That's it. You know, if you come at peace, and if you can't come at peace, then there's no communication with me. That's all it is. You know, it's like, they think because they brought you into this world that you chose to come to this world. I didn't choose to come here. I was brought here, and I'm here. So what's next? Yeah. And I wasn't the one having a fucking good time. I was the one that got shot out of my dad's nuts. Like, and that was that lucky egg that was ready and primed at a very young age. Because we talked about this the last show, and it's just fucked up. Like, how I was conceived. Really fucked up. Oh, here it is. I'm really another joint. I'm like, fuck this shit. This news gives me anxiety. I'm like, fuck. This is a smoker show. Even on the show title, if you watch all the way to the end, you see in the bottom, it says this is a 420 channel. I smoke my medicine, and I'm licensed to smoke. So I got my medical license. Actually, today's Monday. They have a sale on Mondays. I get 20% off. But I don't need medicine. I just bought medicine. But if they have something good, I may be able to get it. I'm just saying, it's still early. I could probably get it. Let me see what they have. But if they have the same shit, because lately they've been having the same shit. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck's going on, you know? When are you guys going to get, like the good shit? Because lately I feel like they've been producing, like, medicine, but it's like I make better medicine. I just don't grow it because I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up. My neck is fucked up. But I can't do it with my neck and my back. Forget about it. But when I grow my own, oh my god, my medicine was lit because I got my seeds from Amsterdam. I ordered them from Amsterdam, and it was sent international mail and got to me and everything. And yeah, it was a mission getting those seeds here. Trust me. It was like some James Bond shit. But I got the medicine and got the seeds, and I grew some out, and man, my batch came out so good. Oh my god. It was, especially White Widow. Oh my goodness, White Widow was so good. Oh, you guys know, I it's on my fucking, like, you guys, I think I've shown you guys where I grow my own stuff and I smoke it, but I don't show the process of how I do it. But you see me smoking it on my show. You got to go back and watch. It's a long time ago, years. Holy shit! But I feel like I've been on YouTube like forever. I took a year off, but it was a year that was really needed. All right. Got the joint road, and we're gonna continue on with the show. Yeah, Triple X culture is a fucking adult club. You lunatic. Yeah, it's just, it's just right now we're just in really weird times. And I feel like Trump is trying to bring structure back, like bring common sense and bring law and order back. And you get a little pushback. You got a lot of these like sanctuary cities that act a little wild. Connecticut, where I live, that's the state that I live at. Yeah, this whole state is corrupt. This whole state is it's so weird, and there's a lot of immigrants here. A lot of illegal immigrants are here. I can't wait for ICE. I know ICE is already here. They're already here in Connecticut. They already had one operation, but I'm talking about they need to do a full-fledged operation. And the city that they need to go to is Hartford, Connecticut, and New Haven, Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut, New London, Connecticut. Listen, look, I'm going down all the chains of everywhere, even Manchester, Connecticut. It's just a lot of immigrants, and then it's like you don't know who's who because you don't even know if they're here or not because people speak Spanish, and there's a lot of Latin, like Americans that speak Spanish, that they kind of blend in with these people. So you don't know who's who. So these ICE agents are kind of like have to, I wouldn't say violate, but I say they would have to like profile you and see if you are who you say you are. And just sometimes you may, run across an ICE and then they're going to ask you, hey, are you American or whatever? And you have to prove, know the hospital you were born in and what state and city. And yeah, I think, and know your social security because they're going to run that to verify. And if you verify, then you're fine. Then you check off in the system. All right, sorry for interrupting you, man. Have a good day. We have to make sure who's who and what's what here. So, we apologize. And that's it. Man, that's what ICE is doing. But ICE is going after the real bad ones right now. And that's what you see on televisions. They're like, oh, it looks like Cops 2.0, but Federal Cops 2.0, where you have the law and order going after the immigrants, the illegal immigrants. And it's like, this is like the super bad boys. Chicago's afraid. You know why? Chicago's afraid because they want that money, the federal money. Because you got to remember, that's $600 extra million going to the state, going to the city, not even the state of Illinois. We're talking about just Chicago. We're talking about a budget of $1.2 billion, and 600 million of that money is going to illegal immigrants. How is that fair? How is that right? How as an American that pays into the tax system, how is this right that 600 million goes to illegal immigrants? I'm still trying to make that make sense. I'm still not high enough. Look, I rolled up another joint. Smells good. So definitely gonna light this one up. $600 million. You know what I could do with $600 million? Let me win the lottery. I win the lottery because I think the lottery now is at 1.1 billion. So I think after taxes and everything, you probably end up around maybe 600 million. That'll let you know how it feels to have $600 million. And then my show production would be so different. It would be so big and so like, you see the camera action, it would be like better than this, like super better than this. Oh no. I will have top notch, like I'll be in a studio, I'll have studio lighting, I'll have more candles, I'll have like a whole setup behind me. 600 million. You kidding me? That's a lot of fucking money. Imagine you had that money in your pocket. Imagine $600 million in your pocket right now. How would that make you feel? Right? You would be like, I wouldn't have to worry about not a motherfucking thing. I wouldn't have to worry about anything. I can smoke as much medicine as I want. I could grow my medicine. I could hire someone to grow it for me. Like 600 million. I own a company that makes the fucking medicine. How about that? I'll have my own acres and acres of fucking marijuana and grow it up and cut it up and sell it up and smoke it up. Hell yeah. So man, I'm gonna play the lottery. I'm gonna play that lottery. It's at 1.1 billion. Shit, imagine if I was to hit that. You imagine? I tell you, it will change. It changes people's lives, right? But imagine not having that 600 million, and that 600 million that was yours now it's Chicago's, and they're giving it all to the illegal immigrants. Now, how you feel? Kind of fucked up. Kind of messed up. Not right. That's a lot of money. That's just a lot of money. Oh, let's watch this here. Let's see this. And then we're gonna go continue with some. Let's watch this. Look at Gavin Newsom scanning his hair waves. Because look at the hair gel. This guy looks like one big cock. Like he looks like a big cock. Like look at the nose. Look at this. Look at the fucking like layers of like wrinkleness here. Holy shit! What is going on with his face here? Like this guy's like a complete alien. Like he doesn't even look like from this planet. Look at his nose. Like look at that nose. This looks like the nose from Beetlejuice, the original one. Remember when the ghosts they were doing the scary parts and they were making like their scary faces. He looks like one of them, like the one with the long nose. Like this guy's like, oh Lord, and he's running for president.
Phony. I'm totally weird. Gavin's hands. It's time for Gavin's hands.
Oh no.
This greasy vermin can't keep his hands from squirming. If you've been watching this show, and I know you have, you know we were the first to call out Gavin's hand movements. Remember this classic?
Conditions that determine our fate and future. And that fundamental notion of agency, I think, is important more broadly. And I think that goes to some of the issues around, victimization and
I see a lot of that, respectively, on the right, increasingly, even with Trump often approaching things from that sort of mindset.
Then even Trump couldn't help but notice.
Gavin, I know him very well. He's incompetent. He's a nice guy, looks good. Hi, everybody. How you doing? He's got some strange hand action going. I don't know what the hell his problem is. It's a little weird, to be honest. There's a little something shaky going on there.
Damn. Damn.
And yet earlier this week, Gavin unleashed his inner 10-fingered freak.
Oh, no.
I came into that recall campaign still arguing that all politics is local. I still had a romantic notion of that. I intellectualized that a lot of our politics and the discourse was national. I didn't fully appreciate how nationalized our politics have become. In so many ways, that shape shifted a lot of what we're doing and who I am today. But this last year, these last 6-7 months, this is something altogether different.
Ugh. It's like he's molesting a ghost. Apparently, our commentary on his hands have gotten inside his head, and Gavin now is desperately trying to control himself, and or not.
Well, it's a curious question.
His thumbs can't handle it.
That crime's an issue.
He's doing a hand battle.
Tackle it.
A
And
thumb
we
battle.
continue to do more in that space. And we announced and highlighted some of the expansion, what is not contradictory, respectfully. We're not talking about the nationalization, the militarization of the Guard and militarizing United States cities. So quite the contrary.
All right, there we
Poor
go.
guy. I want you to watch again as his errant thumb valiantly, violently resists. Needs to get out. It needs to get out. It's trapped his poor little thumb. I haven't seen a finger that excited since my last prostate exam. Oh, my God. Little tip, a little Maybelline shows that you care. Sherrod, what is going on here? Does he have some kind of condition?
It's weird. It's weird. It's like, just use your words, man. You ain't got to talk like you a third base coach. Like you're telling me to steal or bunt. Like if somebody talked to you like that on a subway, as soon as they walk away, you're like, I think you got my watch.
Yes.
I think you just took my watch.
Well, it's a good point. It is kind of a deflection strategy because you're not really listening. You're looking at his hand.
Right. If somebody going like this, hey, man, how's the wife? Like, I don't know what to do with you, man.
Kat, do you think it's some kind of side effect? Maybe he's on some kind of med that makes him
Or he's not too. I think my hands are always doing weird stuff. And I'm not on medication, not to brag. But I never noticed it before, actually. I really never noticed it before this. I'm always so distracted by how good his hair looks. I don't see the rest of him. I got other problems with the guy, like his policies, his hands. No, his wife has probably had some problems with some things his hands have done.
Yeah.
But I have not. Personally. See, look, I'm doing it too. And I'm not going to get self-conscious because it's okay to be expressive with your hands.
Yeah, his hands are just weird, though, Tyrus. They're always doing funky things.
Yeah, I thought it had something to do with the California budget cuts and stuff since they didn't have a hearing impaired transitioner anymore. I'm not paying money for that. I'll do it myself. So, you know.
A little bit of bubble.
Yeah.
Damn.
Nice.
Could you imagine if you were the sign person for the TV going,
what the fuck?
No, he reminds me there of, remember the guy who did the sign language at Mandela's funeral?
Oh,
he was a fake, just doing all this weird stuff. That's Newsom. He's like making it up as he goes along.
Do you have any advice? You know what's interesting about him? I have maintained that Gavin Newsom has the easiest job of all politicians because California is a beautiful state.
Yeah.
At its baseline, people will stay there for the weather and the scenic elements. So they'll put up with anything, and they'll put up even with a governor who doesn't do. He has no, it's amazing. He has all these gifts. He's good looking. He's got great hair. He's glib, but he has no achievements.
Well, he has achievements. They're just really bad, right?
Yeah.
So that's what he's trying to distract us from. Maybe with all the hand motions, like, hey, look over here, as opposed to at my state and what I've done to it. I wonder in the clip that we played of him with the hands pressed together on the desk,
Were they super glued by staff?
Yes.
Did they do that on purpose? Because he's had this whole weird thing he's been doing recently where he's trying to impersonate Trump for laughs, and it doesn't really work. It's very odd. If he wants to take that a step further, he can start doing the Trump hand gestures, right? Some of this.
Yes.
Oh, that's like, you're going to start using your hands like this. Right?
Yeah.
That would be a more productive use than whatever the hell he's been
That
doing.
is very, when he does that, it's very soothing. Why is that soothing? Like it's like a lung.
Very controlled.
Yeah, it's very controlled. It's like somebody. It's like ooh, like we're gonna put it in a box. We're gonna put all the aliens in a box.
But his hand gestures match the words coming out of his mouth.
Right. Yes,
If the president was like, "We want peace in the Middle East," you know what I'm saying? He would be like,
right,
and like,
that's it. That it is. It's the contrast.
Yeah, like Gavin, his hands are aggressive. You know, we've had a lot of theories. One, it was a bad negotiation with a deaf hooker. You know, now he doesn't want to pay for it. You know,
you have a problem with deaf hookers.
Yeah. He does because the deal went south.
Oh
It's
no!
called the Helen Kellen special. Nobody reads.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Oh,
hey,
Lord,
click here to
that is
subscribe
funny.
to Fox.
Too funny. Like, is this like all this little things and all this little things that he does, and the fact they had him sit there and he was done wrestling with himself. He was like this. He was like, my hands want to talk, but I don't want to let them. They glued them together. I'm gonna win this. Who's gonna win this match? I can't concentrate without my hands. What the fuck is wrong with Gavin Newsom, man? He's an alien. I'm telling you. Aliens don't know how to control their hands. The aliens are very, like, they just like that, you know? Gavin's an alien. That's just how it is. Okay, so we're going to go straight to the Tyson De La Cruz. And I'm going to wrap up the show. So we're going to watch actually 4 back-to-back-to-back. So we missed a couple of days on this. So we're going to watch it here. Tyson will be with me here on Thursday at 7:30. Be here, be square. Come with some questions, interactions with us on Thursdays at 7:30 with Tyson De La Cruz. He's a very good, really good YouTuber. Has over 104,000, probably more by now. Let me check his channel. Probably has more. Like, I'm gaining a little bit of subscribers, little by little, but I know with Tyson, he's gonna help me out. He already mentioned he's gonna help me out with that, so there's gonna be more people here. That's what that means. Especially Thursdays. Let me find his channel. Here it is. Oh shit! I underestimated him. He's not 104. He's at 107,000. He's catching fire. He's gathering thousands of people, like a week, like every week, almost every day. He's gathering like over like 500, 600 subscribers. He's just racking them up. Dun, 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 dun. He's building, and that's a great thing, man. I feel he's gonna be so good. The future. He's one of the ones that I feel like he's gonna definitely reach 1 million subscribers and beyond. He's really good. His production's good. His energy is great. He has the knowledge for it. He has like the energy for it. He's gonna be very good. I have full faith in him. And the fact that I have him on my show every Thursdays at 7:30, it's just so mind blowing a little bit. So it's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and set this up and let's watch some Tyson. And the train of truth is here. I heard a little, it's off in the distance, but I heard the train. All right, let's go ahead and start.
Just into our newsroom tonight, the state now confirming it is the victim of a cyber attack.
America, we just witnessed what could be the future of cyber warfare, and it should be terrifying for every American. The entire state of Nevada was brought to its knees by a sophisticated ransomware attack that shut down the DMV, welfare offices, and critical services for nearly a week. But here's what's really disturbing. Cybersecurity experts believe these attackers use AI-powered tools to lurk inside Nevada computer systems systems for months, mapping out vulnerabilities and planning their assault. This wasn't some teenager in their basement. This was a military-grade cyber operation that demonstrates how adversaries are using artificial intelligence to wage war on American infrastructure.
Wow.
Our concerns were confirmed. The state of Nevada had become the target of a sophisticated ransomware-based cybersecurity attack.
And that cyber attack still being felt today by many of you watching this broadcast.
What is up, guys? Tyson
Wow.
Dela Cruz here. Thank you so
Tyson
much
lives
for
in
riding
Nevada.
with me. This attack perfectly illustrates how cyber criminals are evolving faster than our defenses, using cutting-edge technology to target systems we depend on every single day. Let me break down what happened, because this attack represents a new level of cyber warfare sophistication. On Sunday, August 24, 2025, Nevada State computer systems were hit with what officials called a sophisticated ransomware-based cyber attack that hit simultaneously, crippling multiple agencies across the entire state of Nevada.
The governor's office confirms right here in this press release that the state has been the victim of a cyber attack. The incident that shut down services that we rely on is now at the center of an active investigation.
But here's what makes this attack particularly terrifying. Cybersecurity experts believe attackers had been inside Nevada systems for months before launching the ransomware. This is called dwell time, and it's a hallmark of advanced persistent threat, APT groups that use AI-powered reconnaissance tools to map out entire networks before they actually strike.
When an attacker is able to identify a flaw in the system, something that they can access in the internal systems of a network. Once they have full-on access to all the systems that they can, they generally execute their ransomware attack.
Tim Rai, a cybersecurity expert with over 20 years experience, explained how these modern attacks work. When an attacker is able to identify a flaw in the system, something that they can use to access internal networks, they're able to gain full-on access to all the systems that they can, then generally execute their ransomware attack. The simultaneous shutdown of the DMV, welfare services, state police databases, and even traffic cameras shows this wasn't a random attack. This was a coordinated assault on the critical infrastructure of Nevada. What we're seeing in Nevada represents the next evolution of cyber warfare attacks powered by artificial intelligence and machine learning. Modern ransomware groups are using AI tools to automate network reconnaissance, identify vulnerabilities, and execute attacks with precision that would have been impossible just 5 years ago.
For 48 hours, locals trying to come to this welfare office in East Las Vegas have been left in limbo. This after a statewide cyber attack caused major disruptions to their services and many others.
These AI-powered tools can scan thousands of systems simultaneously, learn from each other's interaction to identify the most vulnerable targets. They can adapt their attack methods in real time, bypassing traditional security measures that rely on recognizing known threat patterns. The fact that attackers were able to maintain persistent access to Nevada systems for months without detection suggests they were using advanced evasion techniques, possibly including AI-generated polymorphic malware that's consistently changing its signature to avoid detection.
There could be other political reasons. There could be a nation-state attack. It could be several other things as well on that front. It also could be something where the security team at the state have affected something and has basically pulled the plug.
Cybersecurity expert Tim Rai noted this could be a nation-state attack, which is particularly concerning because nation-state actors have access to the most advanced AI-powered cyber weapons available. Initially, state officials claimed that no personal information has been compromised. But that story quickly changed as the investigation progressed. By Wednesday, they admitted that some data has been infiltrated or moved outside the state network by malicious actors.
I must disclose that our ongoing forensic investigation has found evidence that indicates some data has been exfiltrated or moved outside the state network by the malicious actors.
This data infiltration is particularly concerning because modern ransomware groups use AI-powered data analysis tools to automatically identify the exact and most vulnerable information from the compromised system. They're not just encrypting files for ransom, they're stealing sensitive data that could be used for identity theft, espionage, or sold to the dark market web.
At this stage of our intensive investigation, We cannot yet identify or classify the specific nature of this data.
The fact that investigators still can't identify what specific data was stolen, probably all of it, suggests that attackers use sophisticated techniques, possibly including AI-generated encrypted methods that make it extremely difficult to determine what information was actually compromised. This represents a new level of cyber criminal sophistication. They're not just holding systems hostage, they're conducting intelligence operations that could have long-term national security implications. While the technical aspects of this attack are particularly fascinating from a cybersecurity perspective, the human cost is absolutely devastating. Real Nevadans were left without access to essential government services for nearly a week because of these sophisticated cyber criminals.
We receive food stamps due to our financial situation. Jose Quintana and his wife are on a fixed income and rely on food stamps to help them get by. On Monday, they stopped by the welfare office near Flamingo and Pecos looking for help with their benefits card.
This shows how AI-powered cyber attacks aren't just technical problems. They have real-world consequences for vulnerable Americans.
It's shocking because I've never seen this happen before.
I caught up with Stephen Gomez in the parking lot of the East Sahara Avenue DMV Tuesday.
Just came in to do a renewal on my truck, and won't be able to do it today.
Stephen Gomez couldn't renew his truck registration and was stuck riding his motorcycle. One senior citizen dealing with cancer said, "I'm a senior citizen and I've been dealing with cancer. It's hard for me to come out here in the heat and deal with all this." These sophisticated attacks target the systems that Americans depend on for basic services, turning advanced technology into a weapon against ordinary citizens. What happened in Nevada, unfortunately, is just the beginning. Cybersecurity experts predict that AI-powered attacks will become increasingly common and sophisticated. We're entering an area where cyber criminals can use machine learning to automatically discover vulnerabilities, craft personalized attacks, and execute coordinated assaults on critical infrastructure.
It was the first time we really heard anything from anyone about this attack. There were no less than 9 speakers at the governor's office in Carson City, with one notable exception. The governor, Joe Lombardo. He was in Elko.
The challenge for defenders is that AI-powered attacks can evolve faster than traditional security measures. While human security analysis might take days or weeks to identify and respond to new threats, AI-powered attack tools can modify their tactics in real time. This unfortunately creates an arms race between AI-powered attack tools and AI-powered defense systems. The side with the most advanced artificial intelligence capabilities will have a significant advantage in this new form of warfare. The Nevada attacks demonstrates that foreign adversaries and criminal organizations are already developing these advanced capabilities against American infrastructure. The question is whether our defenses can keep up pace with the rapidly evolving threat. America, this Nevada cyber attack represents a watershed moment in the evolution of cyber warfare. We're no longer dealing with simple hackers using basic tools. We're facing sophisticated adversaries who are weaponizing artificial intelligence against American infrastructure. The fact that these attackers were able to maintain persistent access to Nevada systems for months, simultaneously compromise multiple agencies, and execute a coordinated ransomware attack shows a level of sophistication that should concern every American. The attack also demonstrates how vulnerable our critical infrastructure is to AI-powered cyber weapons. If Nevada systems can be completely paralyzed for nearly a week, what happens when these same techniques are used against power grids, water systems, or financial networks? The good news is that this attack is spurring investment in AI-powered cybersecurity defenses. The private sector is developing machine learning tools that can detect and respond to threats faster than human analysis ever could. But we need to recognize we're in a new era of cyber warfare where the stakes are higher and the weapons are even more sophisticated than ever before. The Nevada attack is a preview of what's coming if we don't take cybersecurity seriously. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
It makes you think, because I always told people on my channel, anything connected to the internet can be manipulated. I've been saying that for how many years? Anything connected and everything connected to the internet can be manipulated. And there's always a way, especially in that cyber world, that it's like the Wild Wild West. And it's just like my background, you know, it's a thing. It could help us and it could hurt us. You know, it could be very useful, but yet very demonic like energy from the cyber world. And the fact that they manipulated Nevada and possibly stole people's information and they're holding them at a ransom, that's wild. That's very wild. And the fact that, where's our defense when it comes to this? I thought, we have our cyber teams that should be able to investigate this and find out where the hell exactly where this attack is coming from, and I don't know if we're strong enough here in the United States to have that type of like capability to attack other countries or other actors out there that causes harm on a daily basis here in America that we don't really pay attention to because we're too busy in our lives taking care of our lives, but we're not paying attention to the cyber world, the energy that's like pulsating out of the sun, like the negativity that's been going on around the world that's attracting something this way that I feel. And yeah, it's very unique times we're living in for sure. And Tyson, like I said, he'll be with me on Thursdays. So it's good that I'm watching 4 shows. Wow. I got to catch up. I do, but I like to show it to you guys and watch it for the first time with you guys because I don't watch it behind the scenes. I'll wait and then do my show and then watch it because I want to give my reaction and my feeling to the story. It's just that story with that cyber attack is crazy. It's crazy. I'm thinking about getting into a VPN. I'm not 100% sure how that works. I'm gonna ask Tyson about it because I believe he has it. So I'll definitely ask him and then see if I could get into some kind of VPN. But the fact that the world is being attacked on a daily basis, everyone is attacking each other cyberly, and you got really bad characters out there that is doing this. It's just amazing. All right, let's go ahead and set up for the next show here. Go ahead and here we go.
What you just heard were flashbangs used by SWAT in Jackson County.
Holy shit.
What they said is, come out with your hands up. We have a warrant.
America, we just uncovered a sophisticated drug trafficking operation in Georgia, and it reads something out of a cartel movie. Federal agents just took down a massive drug ring in Athens that was armed with, get this, a grenade launcher, 26 firearms, including 12 rifles, and enough fentanyl to kill 6.9 million people. But here's what's really disturbing. This operation was ran by repeated offenders who had already served prison time for drug trafficking, got out, and immediately went back to poisoning Georgia communities. We're talking about a criminal enterprise that was distributing fentanyl, cocaine, meth, and heroin, while Georgia's overdose deaths hit 2,649 in 2023. That is a 53% increase from the previous year.
In a major crackdown on gang activity, the FBI says it arrested 17 alleged gang members in connection to a violent drug trafficking ring.
The FBI's Atlanta office joined the Safe Streets Gang Task Force to make those arrests.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This bust exposes exactly how Mexican cartels have established permanent distribution networks in American college towns, while our justice system keeps releasing the same criminals over and over again. Let me break down what federal agents seized during this operation because the numbers are kind of staggering. We're talking about 26 kilograms of cocaine with a street value of $780,000, 1.7 kilograms of fentanyl worth $60,000, 50 grams of methamphetamine, and 5.4 ounces of crack cocaine, 2.4 pounds of marijuana, and 128 controlled pharmaceuticals. What makes this operation particularly terrifying is the weapons. They seized 26 firearms in total. This wasn't a drug operation. This was a paramilitary organization prepared for war with law enforcement.
And while the homeowner didn't want to go on camera, he tells me law enforcement kicked in his downstairs door and arrested a person living with him. When I asked why, he didn't care to elaborate. The FBI posted these pictures to their Facebook account, saying agents were out arresting gang members as part of Operation Summer Heat.
The operation involved 13 federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies executing 12 search warrants across Athens and Atlanta. This included the FBI Athens Middle Georgia Safe Streets Gang Task Force, the DEA, Georgia Bureau of Investigations, and multiple sheriff's office. When it takes 13 agencies to take down one drug ring, you know you're dealing with something sophisticated. Here's what's going to make your blood boil about this case. Multiple defendants in this operation are repeat offenders who already served prison time for serious felony drug convictions. Ulysses Borja, Orlando Muckle, Joey Campbell, and Bernard Walker all served prison time for prior drug trafficking, got out, and immediately went back to dealing drugs.
U.S. Attorney Will Keyes unsealed 2 federal indictments and 1 criminal complaint charging that group with a variety of drug conspiracy
Holy
and
shit.
distribution charges. If they are
100K?
they all face a maximum of life in prison.
Almost $1
Patrick
million.
Wilkins is a convicted felon who was illegally possessing 5 firearms. So we have a guy that's already been convicted of felonies, prohibited from owning guns, but he has 5 firearms while trafficking drugs. This is exactly what happens when our justice system treats drug traffickers like minor offenses instead of the terrorism that it actually is. The main player of this operation was Alicio Yanez Pinea, also known as Choquito, a 48-year-old, you guessed it, from Mexico. This shows connection between Mexican cartels and drug distribution in Georgia communities. This wasn't just local dealers. This was an international criminal organization with tentacles reaching into college towns. To understand why this bust is so significant, we need to understand the scope of Georgia's drug crisis. In 2023, Georgia recorded 2,649 fentanyl overdose deaths, a 53% increase from 2022. That's more than 7 people dying from fentanyl every single day in Georgia. The 1.7 kilograms of fentanyl seized in this operation could have produced approximately 850,000 lethal doses. But that's just what they caught. How much fentanyl has this organization already distributed into Georgia communities over the years while they were operating? What makes this even more disturbing is that Athens is a college town. The University of Georgia has over 40,000 students, and this drug ring was operating right in their backyard. College students are particularly vulnerable to fentanyl because they often don't know what they're taking. It's mixed into fake prescription pills and powders and other drugs. The fact that this organization was distributing fentanyl where a person under 18 was present shows that they have no regard to children's safety. They're willing to expose kids to deadly drugs and violence that comes along with this drug trafficking. This wasn't just a local operation. This was a sophisticated distribution network that had been operating for years. From January 2024 to May 2025, the Yanez Pineda group distributed more than 400 grams of fentanyl and more than 50 grams of methamphetamine in the Athens region. But there was a second group led by Orlando Muckle who had been operating even longer. From October 2020 to present, this group distributed more than 400 grams of fentanyl and more than 5 kilograms of cocaine in Athens. So we're talking about multiple criminal organizations operating simultaneously in the same area.
People living on Jimmy Reynolds Drive and Tyler Circle and Arcade say the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, and SWAT were outside this home around 6 o'clock in the morning.
The distribution locations included Certain Drive, Essex Court, Commerce Parkway, and Jennings Mill Parkway, basically all throughout Athens. This shows how these cartels establish permanent infrastructure in American communities. They're not just passing through, they're setting up shop and treating our cities like their personal territory. This bust is part of Operation Take Back America, President Trump's nationwide initiative that marshals full resources of the Justice Department to eliminate cartels and transnational criminal organizations. This is exactly the kind of coordinated approach we need to dismantle these type of networks. The charges in this case carry some serious prison time. Due to the massive amounts of drugs and weapons involved, most defendants face a mandatory minimum sentence and potentially life in prison. That is real accountability for people who are poisoning Georgia communities while armed with military-grade weapons.
So we're not just hitting random people. We're not just like pulling a slot machine hoping we get something. No, there's a background information that's done. A lot of legwork is done in really in this particular instance.
This is a targeted operation based on extensive investigation and intelligence gathering. The fact that this investigation involved wiretaps and coordination between 13 agencies shows the level of sophistication required to take down these networks. You can't just arrest street dealers. You have to dismantle the entire organization. America, this Athens drug bust perfectly illustrates why we need President Trump's tough approach to cartels and repeat offenders. We had Mexican cartels operating and working with American repeat felonies to flood a college town with enough fentanyl to kill nearly 7 million people, all well armed with grenade launchers and military-grade weapons. The fact that multiple defendants were repeat offenders who had already served prison time for drug trafficking shows exactly what's wrong with our justice system. These people should have been locked up for decades after their first conviction, not released and immediately resumed poisoning communities. Georgia's fentanyl deaths increased 53% in 2023, and operations like this one are directly responsible for that carnage. When you have international criminal organizations establishing permanent distribution networks in college towns, you're going to see a massive increase in overdose deaths. The good news is that 17 people are now behind bars, and the network that was bringing military-grade weapons and massive quantities of fentanyl into Athens has been destroyed. But this is just one operation. The cartels have similar networks operating in cities across America. That's why we need to treat cartels like terrorist organizations. When you're killing thousands of Americans every year with fentanyl while armed with grenade launchers, you deserve to be hunted down with the full force of American military and intelligence capabilities. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, Tyson, for that one too. But close to $1 million in drugs. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of drugs. That's wild. Oof. Let's go to the next one here of Tyson's.
The man prosecutors call one of the most powerful drug traffickers in the world now faces the rest of his life in prison.
America, El Mayo Zambada's guilty plea just opened up the biggest can of worms in Mexican political history, and Claudia Sheinbaum is desperately trying to keep the lid on it. The 77-year-old Sinaloa co-founder didn't just admit to running a drug empire. He confessed that his success depended on bribing Mexican police, military commanders, and politicians for over 35 years. But here's the kicker. While Sheinbaum is dismissing these corruption allegations as having no evidence, she's simultaneously demanding the United States give Mexico the $15 billion that were seized from this drug lord. So let me get this straight. There's no evidence of corruption, but Mexico wants the money that was made from corrupting Mexican officials?
El Mayo was one of the most prolific and powerful drug traffickers in this world. His partner was El Chapo. They were co-founders of the Sinaloa cartel.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story exposes the massive corruption that's been eating Mexico alive while their president plays politics with blood money. And we've got a Mexican senator who's risking her life to tell the truth about how deep this corruption really goes. Let me break down exactly what El Mayo admitted in his guilty plea, because this is a bombshell that should bring down the entire Mexican political establishment. Zambada didn't just plead guilty to drug trafficking. He specifically admitted the organization I led promoted corruption in my home country by paying police officers, military commanders, and politicians. Think about what he's saying here. This isn't some low-level drug dealer claiming he paid off a local cop. This is the co-founder of the most powerful cartel in the world, admitting he systematically corrupted Mexican government officials at every level for 3 decades.
The president of Mexico doesn't want to designate the cartels as terrorists and doesn't want to expose the dirty politicians that they are involved in our Mexican government.
The Department of Justice was even more specific in their press release. Zambada Garcia controlled those corrupt officials and officers who protected his workers and drug shipments as his drugs were transported across Mexico into the United States. So we're not talking about occasional bribes here and there. We're talking about systematic corruption networks where Mexican officials were essentially employees of the Sinaloa cartel. El Mayo controlled these officials. They weren't just taking bribes, they were taking orders. The scope of the corruption is staggering. According to the federal indictment, corrupt officials provided cartel with protection from drug shipments crossing Mexico, advanced warning of military operations, information about law enforcement investigations, safe passage through Mexican territory, and protection from rival cartels. This wasn't just about moving drugs. This was about the Sinaloa cartel essentially running a parallel government in Mexico with their own intelligence network, their own protection services, and their own enforcement mechanisms. Now, here's where the story gets absolutely outrageous. President Claudia Sheinbaum's response to these corruption revelations has been to completely dismiss them while simultaneously demanding the United States give Mexico the $15 billion that were seized from El Mayo.
Una declaración ante una corte que sí ha habido corrupción por parte de autoridades. Él habla de todos los niveles, desde al menos el año pasado hacia atrás, Presidenta. ¿Algún comentario acerca de esto?
Pues tendría que haber una denuncia, ¿no? O sea, porque puede decir este tema, pero ¿a quién le daba dinero? De acuerdo con lo que planteó, pues tendría que haber una denuncia, ¿no?
Sheinbaum says there's no formal complaint or evidence implicating current politicians or military officers. No evidence? The co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel just confessed under oath in the United States federal court that he systematically corrupted Mexican officials for 35 years. And she says that there's no evidence. But wait, it gets worse. At the same time she's denying any corruption, Sheinbaum is demanding that the United States give Mexico the $15 billion forfeit from El Mayo's plea deal. She said if the United States government were to recover resources, then we would be asking them to be giving them to Mexico for the poorest people. Let me make sure I understand this logic. There's no evidence that Mexican officials were corrupted by El Mayo, but Mexico wants the money that El Mayo made by corrupting Mexican officials? That's like saying there was no robbery while asking for the stolen goods back. The $15 billion represents decades of drug proceeds that El Mayo made by bribing Mexican officials to look the other way while he poisoned American communities. Every dollar of that money is blood money that was earned through corruption and murder. The audacity of Mexico asking for this money while denying corruption that made it possible is absolutely breathtaking. It's like the getaway driver claiming innocence while demanding a share of the bank robbery proceeds. To understand why El Mayo's confession is so damning, we need to understand the history of the cartel corruption in Mexico. This isn't a new problem. It's been the foundation of cartel power for decades. The cartel didn't just bribe officials. They essentially owned them. They maintained payrolls and included municipal police, state police, military commanders, and politicians across all major political parties. This isn't occasional corruption. This is systematic capture of government institutions. Now, here's why this system works. Cartels identify key officials who can help their operation. They approach these officials with the choice, plato o plama, silver or lead. Take the bride or take the bullet. Most officials take the bride because they know the alternative is death.
Plata
o plomo. Once an official is on the cartel payroll, they're absolutely trapped. They can't go to their superiors because their superiors might also be on the payroll. They can't go to other agencies because those other agencies might be compromised too. And they can't quit because the cartels don't let people quit.
And then you think you're a rat and they kill you.
Where cartels' interests often take precedent over Mexican law. Police protect cartel shipments instead of intercepting them. Military commanders warn cartels about operations instead of conducting them. Politicians pass laws that benefit cartels instead of fighting them. This is why El Mayo's confession is so devastating. He's just not admitting to drug trafficking. He's admitting that the Mexican government has been compromised at every level for over 3 decades. While President Claudia Sheinbaum is denying corruption and demanding blood money, there's one Mexican politician who's risking her life to tell the truth about how deep this corruption really goes. Senator Lily Tellez from the National Action Party, PAN, has been sounding the alarm about cartel infiltration of the Mexican government for many years.
That is why President Sheinbaum doesn't want the strong American leadership to help Mexico defeat the cartels. And also, Sheinbaum doesn't want the rest of the world to know what is happening here in Mexico. We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela.
Senator Tellez hasn't just made vague accusations. She's been specific about how the corruption works. She states the cartels finance political campaigns and exert control over political processes, making politicians beholden to their demands.
Can you explain this alliance between the president, her party, the Morena party, and the cartels?
Yes, the party has financed, has given the cartels have given so much money to these politicians, narco politicians of Morena, to get into office, to get the power. So they protect. The Mexican government protects the cartels.
In multiple interviews, including the one on Fox News, Tellez has described Mexico as a narco state and claimed that the current administration resists the United States' offers to help combat cartel violence because of these particular allegation ties. Think about how brave this woman is. She's a sitting Mexican senator publicly accusing her own government of being controlled by drug cartels. In Mexico, that's just not political courage, that's risking your life. Journalists and politicians who expose cartel corruption in Mexico have a habit of ending up dead.
Is Mexico a narco state?
Yes, it is. And we all Mexicans know about it. And Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels.
Senator Tellez has proposed stricter penalties for public servants who collaborate with drug cartels, advocating such acts be considered as treason to the homeland. She's not just complaining about the problem, she's actually trying to fix it. But here's what's really telling. President Claudia Sheinbaum's response to Senator Tellez hasn't been to investigate her allegations or provide evidence that she's wrong. Instead, Sheinbaum labeled Tellez as a traitor for encouraging foreign involvement in fighting cartels.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum responding, saying, quote, "It's not a minor issue that a senator gave an interview to a foreign media outlet calling for intervention."
Where does she stand with regards to Lili Tellez?
Well, at first, she accused her in front of everybody and in front of the world of treason, to our country, because she misinterpreted it and said that on the interview, Lili Tellez asked for an intervention in our country of Mexico. She completely did not ask that. She's completely incorrect. It is against our Constitution, Article 129 of the Constitution of Mexico, that no foreign military can intervene without the consent of the Congress of the Union and also the Mexican president.
Let me get this straight. A Mexican senator who wants to fight cartel corruption is a traitor. But the cartels who are actually corrupting Mexican officials are apparently not the problem. That tells you everything you need to know about where the Mexican government priorities really lie. Despite President Sheinbaum's denials, the evidence of systematic corruption in Mexico is overwhelming. It's not just El Mayo's confession. It's decades of documented cases, intercepted communications, and testimony from multiple sources. The Fat Leonard scandal in the United States Navy involved 34 prosecutions and 29 guilty pleas from mid-level officers. But in Mexico, we're talking about corruption that makes Fat Leonard look like a parking ticket. We're talking about an entire government apparatus that has been compromised by a criminal organization. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration has documented extensive corruption networks that span all levels of Mexican government. DEA reports show that cartels maintain detailed payroll records of Mexican officials treating government corruption as business expenses. This isn't speculation or conspiracy theories. This is documented facts based on seized cartel records, intercepted communications, and testimony from cooperating witnesses. El Mayo's corruption confession has massive implications for American national security and foreign policy. If the Mexican government has been systematically compromised by the cartel for decades, how can we trust them as partners in fighting drug trafficking? This explains why the fentanyl crisis has been so difficult to address. We've been trying to work with the Mexican government that's been compromised by the very cartels we're trying to fight. It's like asking the mafia to help you investigate organized crime. The fact that Mexico is demanding the $15 billion from El Mayo's forfeit while denying corruption shows they're more interested in money than accountability. They want the proceeds of corruption without acknowledging the corruption that made these proceeds possible. This is why President Trump's approach of treating cartels as terrorist organizations is so important. When you're dealing with criminal organizations that have systematically corrupted entire governments, you can't rely on the government to solve the problem. Senator Tellez understands this, which is why she's calling for increased U.S. cooperation. She knows that Mexico can't solve this problem alone because the problem has infected the very institution that are supposed to solve it. America, El Mayo's guilty plea has opened up Pandora's box on Mexico's government corruption, and President Claudia Sheinbaum is desperately trying to keep the lid on it. But the truth is out now, and no amount of denial can put it back in the box. We have the co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel confessing under oath that he systematically corrupted Mexican officials for 35 years. We have a brave Mexican senator risking her life to expose the depths of this corruption. And we have a Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, who's denying corruption while demanding the money that corruption made possible. The $15 billion that Mexico wants from El Mayo's forfeit is blood money. Every dollar represents American lives lost to fentanyl trafficking that was enabled by Mexican government corruption. That money, in my opinion, should go to American victims and their family, not the country that enabled the crimes in the first place. Senator Tellez is a hero for speaking truth to power in a country where telling the truth about cartels can get you killed. President Claudia Sheinbaum is a disgrace for denying the obvious corruption while trying to profit from it. This is exactly why we need President Trump's tough approach to cartels and corrupt foreign governments. We're dealing with a narco state that has been compromised by criminal organizations. You can't rely on diplomacy and cooperation. You need strength, accountability, and justice. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, the corruption, the drugs, it works hand in hand there in Mexico. Their government's corrupted. They finance a lot of the corruption through the cartels and they channel it into the government, and they tell the government, shut the fuck up, or else we'll just kill your whole family, and everything would just go to shit. And it's crazy. The cartels down there have a lot of power, and the U.S. knows, and that's why the U.S. is ready to attack them and put them in their place. It'd be a two-front war, because they're looking at Venezuela because of the drugs and a lot of amount of drugs of like cocaine, all types of narcotics are coming through Venezuela here to the United States. So there's a big time problem that they're gonna try to put a slowdown to, and possibly attack Venezuela to get these drug lords under control, and to stop with the trafficking of drugs and people and money and all types of shit. Man, this world is wild, man. I'm telling you, the asteroid, I'm waiting for it. It's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. Let's go to the last video of Tyson, and I'm wrapping up the show after this. So let's go ahead and set this up here, and let's go.
And we greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city.
America, we are witnessing the complete collapse of the liberal sanctuary city narrative, and it's absolutely beautiful to watch. After years of claiming that progressive policies were making cities safer, Democrat mayors are finally being forced to admit what we've known all along. Trump was right. Washington, D.C. Mayor Bowser just had to swallow the biggest piece of humble pie in political history, publicly admitting that Trump's federal crime crackdown resulted in an 87% reduction in carjackings and a 15% overall drop in crime. But here's what's really telling. While Bowser finally admitted the truth, cities like Baltimore are still living in denial, claiming crime is down when it's actually being underreported to protect their failed liberal narratives.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is reversing course on President Trump's crime crackdown, but some Democrats are still pushing back.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This is what happens when liberal pride meets reality. Eventually, reality wins, but it's not before innocent people pay the price for their stubborn ideology. Let me start with Baltimore, because the city perfectly illustrates the liberal hive mind mentality that puts politics over public safety. Baltimore officials are claiming a 22% drop in homicides and a 19% reduction in non-fatality shootings in 2025. But residents on the ground are telling a completely different story.
They're saying that they're out here trying to, discourage, group activity, discourage these things and provide alternatives. I mean, are they?
Where? I haven't seen them. What are they discouraging?
Here's the problem with these numbers. They're based on reported crimes, not actual crime. When you have police departments that have been defunded and demoralized, when you have prosecutors who refuse to prosecute criminals, and when you have a community that's lost faith in the justice system, people stop reporting crimes.
About these group violence interrupters and some of this other, diversion activists that you heard, I've heard, who's out here in the streets.
Or you talking about like the safe streets and the no shoe zone and Black Lives Matter and all that?
That's right.
Yeah, where the is they at? Where are they? They ain't out here doing anything. And Black Lives Matter, there wouldn't be so many homeless people or hungry people out here.
Think about it logically. If you're a victim of a crime in Baltimore and you know the police are understaffed, the prosecutors won't prosecute, and criminals will be back on the street in 24 hours. Why would you even bother? You're wasting your time and potentially putting yourself in more danger. This is exactly how these liberal cities manipulate crime statistics. They create conditions where crimes don't get reported. They claim crime is down because their official numbers are lower. It's like saying unemployment is down because people stop looking for jobs. Technically, it's true, but completely misleading.
Data from the Baltimore City Police Department is shedding light on the crime situation here, and some residents we spoke with say while crime is down overall, they think the National Guard could help build on the trend.
On talk radio, callers were aiming their outrage at the governor.
Sir, you are the governor of Maryland. Everything that you said while campaigning means nothing because you have done nothing to improve the wonderful state of Maryland.
Baltimore's liberal leadership would rather live in statistical fantasy land than admit their policies have failed. They're more concerned with protecting the political narrative than protecting their citizens. Now let's talk about Washington, D.C. Mayor Bowser, because what happened to her should be a lesson to every liberal mayor in America. Bowser initially called Trump's federal crime crackdown plan unsettling and unprecedented. Typical liberal resistance to anything Trump proposes. But get this, then something amazing happened. Trump policies actually worked. Within 20 days, a federal law enforcement surge in D.C., carjackings dropped 87%. Overall crime fell 15%. 87%. That's not a statistical abnormality. That is a complete transformation of public safety.
We know that when carjackings go down, when use of gun goes down, when homicide or robbery go down, neighborhoods feel safer and are safer.
Of course they are.
This surge has been important to us for that reason.
So what did Mayor Bowser do when faced with the undeniable results? She had to eat crow in the most public way possible. At a press conference, she admitted that the federal surge enhanced what MPD was able to do with the city and that the neighborhoods feel safer. They feel safer as a result. Wow.
And we greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city.
Can you imagine how hard that was for her to say? This woman who built her political career on opposing Trump, and now she has to publicly admit that his policies work better than hers. That had to be the most bitter pill she's ever swallowed. But here's what's really telling about the liberal mindset. Even while admitting Trump's policies work, Bowser still found ways to criticize them. She expressed concerns about masked ICE agents and out-of-state National Guard troops potentially undermining community trust.
What we know is not working is a break in trust between police and community, especially with new federal partners in our community. We know having masked ICE agents in the community has not worked, and National Guards from other states has not been an efficient use of those resources.
So let me get this straight. The policies that reduce carjackings by 87% might undermine community trust. What about the trust of law-abiding citizens who were getting carjacked before Trump's policies took effect? Don't they matter? Now Trump is taking his successful model to Chicago, and the liberal meltdown is already beginning. President Trump is sending a large contingent of federal agents, including ICE, Border Patrol, and other Department of Homeland Security personnel to Chicago as part of a ramped-up deportation and crime crackdown.
This evening, the New York Times says they have obtained documents saying the Trump administration plans to send more than 200 Homeland Security officers for 30 days of operations in the Chicago metropolitan area.
Federal agents will be housed at the Naval Station Great Lakes near Chicago from September 2nd to September 30th, with operations focused on immigration enforcement and public safety threats. This is exactly what Chicago needs. Real law enforcement that's not hamstrung by liberal politics.
They are requesting space for 250 personnel and parking for 140 vehicles. Among their requests, storage space for medical supplies, as well as weapons like rubber bullets and tear gas.
But how are Chicago officials responding? Exactly what you'd expect from liberal politicians who care more about their ideology than their citizen safety. Chicago's mayor and police superintendent have stated that they're not assisting ICE agents in conducting raids and will not ask immigration status from crime victims.
I don't know why they need rubber bullets and tear gas. And of course, this is part of a longstanding effort by the Trump administration since he took office. In fact, since just before he took office, of attacking the city of Chicago.
This, my friends, is the liberal hive mind in action. Even after seeing the incredible results in Washington, D.C., Chicago's leadership is still more committed to their sanctuary city ideology than protecting their actual citizens. They'd rather have higher crime rates than admit Trump's policies are working. What we're seeing across these sanctuary cities is a perfect example of what we call the liberal hive mind, a collective delusion where ideology trumps reality, where political narratives matter more than public safety, where admitting you were wrong is considered worse than letting people die. These sanctuary cities aren't about compassion. They're about political virtue signaling. Liberal mayors would rather protect criminal, illegal immigrants rather than protect law-abiding American citizens. We've created a safe space for criminals while making their cities unsafe for everyone else. The results speak for themselves. Cities with the strongest sanctuary city policies have the highest crime rates, most violence, and the least public safety. But instead of changing course, liberal mayors double down on failed policies because admitting they were wrong would destroy their political careers. In my opinion, this is why Trump's approach is so effective. He's not asking these mayors to change their mind. He's just going around them. When local officials refuse to enforce the law, federal officials will do that for them. The fundamental problem with liberal sanctuary cities is they prioritize political pride over public safety. These mayors would rather see their cities burn than admit Trump was right about anything. Look at the pattern. Trump proposes tough on crime policies. Liberal mayors resist and call them racist or unconstitutional. The policies get implemented anyways, and they work incredibly well. Then the mayors deny the results or find ways to criticize the success. Mayor Bowser is the exception that proves the rule. She actually admitted Trump's policies work, but only after the results were so overwhelming that denial was absolutely impossible. Even then, she still found ways to criticize the very policies that made her city safer. This is what happens when you put politics before people. These mayors care more about their progressive credentials than about the safety of their constituents. They'd rather have high crime rates that they can blame on systematic racism than low crime rates that prove conservative policies work. The tragedy here is that innocent people pay the price for political stubbornness. Every carjacking victim in DC before Trump's surge, every murder victim in Chicago, every assault victim in Baltimore, they're all casualties of liberal pride. America, what we're witnessing is the complete collapse of the liberal sanctuary city narrative. After years of claiming their progressive policies make cities safer, the evidence is overwhelming that they've made cities more dangerous. Washington, D.C. Mayor Bowser had to publicly admit that Trump's federal crime crackdown reduced carjackings by 87% and overall crime by 15%. That admission must have been tough for someone who built her career on opposing Trump, but the results were too obvious to deny. Meanwhile, cities like Baltimore are still living in statistical fantasy land, claiming crime is down when it's really being underreported, and Chicago is preparing to resist federal law enforcement even after seeing the incredible results in D.C. This is the liberal hive mind in action. Ideology over reality, politics over public safety, pride over protection. These mayors would rather see their cities suffer than admit conservative policies work. The good news is Trump isn't asking for permission. When local officials refuse to protect their citizens, federal officers will step in and do the job. The results in D.C. prove this approach works, and Chicago is about to get the same treatment. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
That's what's up, Tyson. Thank you for another awesome segment of your awesome show. Great reporting, great show. Tyson De La Cruz, you gotta watch him. Subscribe to him. He'll be here every Thursday. Man, I'm tired already, but I gotta get going. It was fun while it lasted, right? I had a good time. Hey, Chloe, you're back. Hold on, let me see these. My eyes are. I gotta put drops in my eyes. You're done. Yay! That's awesome. You're done. Congratulations. I know painting. I remember I painted my parents' house long time ago. That's when I was living with them. It was such a mission to get it done, but we got it done. But man, it was just a lot of work. It was just a lot of work, and I'm like, damn, man, sucks. But I truly understand. And we were painting the outside of the house. The inside of the house is, it's you want to make sure you get the corners and all the the borders, and you want to get it right. You don't want to like splatter paint all over the place. So it's like it is a mission. Definitely is a mission. But it is what it is, and I am done with the show. Thanks, Albie, and thanks, Chloe, and thanks everybody who came in. Doc and Seven Serpents was here earlier, and everyone who comes and rewatches. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. I possibly may come back on later this evening. I may do an evening show, so yeah, it's gonna be. We're gonna be talking about the energy that the sun is projecting towards us, because there was a big solar flare that was released yesterday, and we're going to be feeling the effects of it starting around 6-7 p.m. this evening. We should start feeling it now, but it enhances more between 6 and 7. Chances for big earthquakes and stuff like that goes up with these types of events. So we did have a big earthquake yesterday in Afghanistan that has killed possibly more than 1,000. Could possibly be another 2,000 people dead and thousands upon thousands injured in Afghanistan and in the Pakistan area too. They keep getting really strong aftershocks, and it's kind of scary because this earth is reacting to the sun, and we're just a bunch of ants on top of it. Don't think that because you think you're big, that you're big. In reality, you're just like nothing. You're compared to the earth, you're just like you're littler than a flea. That's how we are on this planet. So keep that in mind. I'll be back on later on tonight. Thank you for watching. Continue having a good morning, good afternoon, and a good evening. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And stay peaceful, because it's Labor Day and it's a time to relax, not a time to act crazy. Peace for now. Bye.